How do you determine or evaluate success? Give me one example of your successful accomplishments. Yeah. Success is different in different areas in life, and it's highly connected to the circumstances at the time. I'll give a few examples. First time I was going to work abroad. I was going on an Italian cruise line where I barely spoke Italian. I was only 21 at the time, and that kind of service was new to me. And you're coming into a new world where it's a multinational society. Sometimes more than 50 nationalities work at a time on one ship. Anyway, I came there, I put on the uniform, I remember, black pants, black shoes, white shirt, bow tie, and light blue jacket. And I was standing by the register, by the counter, and plenty bar waiters, plenty bartenders, plenty guests speaking Italian. And it's just overwhelming, and I was terrified. I was Anyway, in a short while, I came to be one of the top sellers on the ship. That can be considered quite kind of a success. Later on Japan cruise line, me and my girlfriend, we got invited, and we were first of non-Japanese staff in that office to work closely with cruise director and cruise staff. Yeah. Me, I was not only changing industry, but not only changing position, but industry too, as I was going from hospitality to entertainment. I don't know, I was outspoken and I was noticeable, and we were a nice couple. And my Japanese improved more than others, I guess. And those were really some magical times there from multiple aspects. Anyway, later on I came on a celebrity cruise where I was advancing throughout positions and throughout the years. As I spent quite a few years with that company, and I was going from bartender promoted to sommelier, and then from sommelier to sommelier in a specialty restaurant, and then sommelier in a specialty restaurant in charge of wine and beverage service there and a couple other sommeliers. And my last promotion was to head chef de rang. Head chef de rang is a position equivalent to assistant maître d', what it was in the main dining. Yeah, and that promotion, that's quite a story. That last promotion happened like this. I had a manager with whose managerial methods I did not agree, at all. I valued him on some other levels, as he was knowledgeable and he had charisma and other things. But with the way he treated his staff, I could not agree. And the stories of others would confirm that, and my personal experience. Anyway, but there was nothing significant enough that you can really grasp on and say. So I was writing down in my mind, subconsciously, what was going on. And one day I just had enough. And after midnight, I was closing the restaurant, and I went to my cabin. And for a bigger part of the night, I wrote a letter. I wrote a letter to higher management, where I wrote everything that was going on and the way it was going on throughout the month. A very, very stressful period there. And in the morning, I copied it and distributed it to all the managers, including that person. human resource manager too, and we got a meeting with hotel director and ops, all the managers, and hotel director and human resource manager, and yeah, being in that office was sheep who wrote a letter, going into being in an office with full of sharks. Yeah, that's what it felt like, a little bit. Anyway, what happened is that I wrote on the end of the letter that, as I had info that that person is very long time in the company and he has some influence and he's probably not gonna suffer much consequence from my letter, I requested to be transferred to the main line as a regular sommelier. So that was a step down for me, but I so much did not want to work with that person. Anyway, they granted my request. When you do something like that, it's like what feeling that you get is watch your back. Watch your back, double the tape. And anyway, they granted my request and I went to the main dining to work as a regular sommelier. What followed was very surprising, as company did the right thing. Supervisor came on board after some time and he took me by the hand and we went down to the specialty restaurant. He said to this manager, he said, now you're gonna train this guy and you're gonna make him into your assistant. Yeah. And that happened. After some time, that same supervisor comes on board and they call me again to the office with all the managers. And I was supposed to go to vacation. Well deserved. After 7 months of contract, working 70 hours a week, you're tired. But they told me like this, Andrey, if you want your promotion immediately, you're not going home. You're going to Alaska for some time and spend a few months there in another specialty restaurant. So I did, and that happened and I got my promotion. Yeah. Something more recent. My 3D portfolio is some creative accomplishment that I see of mine. And the fact that I made it available on different media as LinkedIn, as Facebook, and even YouTube, that's a marketing success you can do. When I was doing the project nearby, came to be suddenly that we need a urbanistic plan to be able to go ahead with building. When I was going into that business, that thing was not required. But shortly after my going into it, municipality reached a decision on a council that now for each part of their territory they need an urbanistic plan. So I had to jump in that. I dived in that too. And we brought it on power. And here in Croatia, that's a pretty big deal to bring some plan like that on power. So we did. And even if we didn't go ahead with that project to the very end, we brought that urbanistic plan on power, and now people there can go after legally building their homes and houses. Yeah, so that's one more accomplishment and success that I think of mine. That's something that in my line of business here in the place where I live, that did not have much ear for me. Yeah. And I'm not a static person. I continue to improve, and I'm thinking to go ahead with something as with my studies. I'm looking right now, and it looks very interesting. The Art Academy that's located in California, and they have online classes. So I'm thinking that I can attend that. Yeah. They have all the designs and architecture and stuff, and they send me some papers. to revise. And then again, being honest and real is some perennial accomplishment you can cherish.